Hey everyone,
Six.
welcome to Gimme Vendcast episode 6. I am here with Cecil Ledesma, and this week we're going to talk about the pros and cons of an unattended retail versus a attended retail. Cecil, last week we talked about markets versus vending. Now we're kind of putting them into the same category and saying those are unattended services, unattended retail services. And then we want to expand this a step further and think about all of the attended services that are out there today. Let's run through and start with probably the easiest section for us first, the pros of unattended retail services, the best parts about it. Why do we love it?
Great question, Evan. Good to see you again. Boy, the industry was born, right? Vending and later on, the transformation with markets has brought to the everyday consumer from an operator efficiency standpoint. It's got to be saving on labor and how much labor really costs, right, to deliver these services. I think that is at the very top because, or look at the concept of a vending machine. It is a storefront, but it's so self-contained. It can run 24 hours a day.
Exactly.
So extending the hours of commerce well beyond a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6 operation that is staffed with workers. Now you've just gone 24 hours a day and allowing people to come and go, buy as they please. And it's not just the beverage industry, snack and beverage. I remember Zoom systems. Where they actually are in Macy's stores, right? But it's all electronics. I see it in airports. I see it in traditional brick and mortar retail establishments where you have almost a complement within the retail floor, but the products are behind glass and being able to access that with a cashless device or some type of non-cash instrument makes it possible.
Right. So, and it would be ridiculous to have someone standing there next to the box that's secure and vending your product. That would just be ridiculous. And then when we look at markets, I think it actually introduces, well, would I have someone there or should I not? And I think one thing that's really given markets the advantage is that at first it looks like you might need an attendant for something like that, right, to check them out. But fortunately, in this case, I think technology has really helped out on the market side. Obviously, the kiosks that are out there, those track all of your sales individually. They have the technology to scan barcodes, so it makes it really easy as a consumer to check out your product. And I think what's backing that up is that, okay, well, what's stopping someone from just picking up and going and leaving? And then I think we think about the technology of protecting that market with cameras and with video, right? And with things that monitor from afar to give you the peace of mind that, no one's getting away with product without paying for it. And one thing I think you and I had talked about in the past, a topic I'm remembering now is, you mentioned you have a video doorbell at your home,
right?
And I think that's kind of a similar aspect of why you'd have a video at your micro market. You know who's in there and what they're doing while they're there. And in your case, it's also for your home security, right?
100%. I think, look, the concept of being in business and having multiple stores, micro markets all over the place. You don't want to lose money delivering that kind of space or market, and so you almost have to rely on this remote vigilance, right? Having cameras that are strategically placed so that you can let that market run and customers in it roam free, picking and choosing. There's nobody leaning over their shoulders and saying, can I help you get that? Or can I help you with this? Or let me put that on the counter for you and start, a pile. I know years and years ago when we all used to work retail, that's what the training was, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's funny how all that mimics everyday smart homes, right? The doorbell camera is one such example, but it's like there's technology that tells you, the notification thing is just incredible, right? But it wasn't always like that, right? And so when we look at vending and everything unattended, you almost have to have those things in place to feel secure in offering these services.
But and I guess that becomes one of the pros, though. In this case, to go back to just the big pros, you've kind of laid it out. One, the efficiency of labor, not having to have someone at these places. But then two, it's the fact that technology, it allows operators to do just that and have that unattended location. The technology, and we don't have to go through all of what that is, but the technology aspect is there and allows operators to have these unattended places, which I see that as a huge advantage to our industry. I think it's a very special place to be because when we look at the attended side, I don't think there are necessarily those same advantages, not yet at least, for some of the traditional attended retail. The technology and the ability to remove everyone from, that's kind of the first step. And I think when we look at, something like adjacent to a micro market, we look at the next step above it, I would say we'd be seeing attended C-stores would be kind of the next evolution of a micro market. Public facing, many locations, attached to gas stations, things like that, or not, or freestanding. And maybe one layer above that, you've got, grocery stores and then traditional retail, which are your, bigger store layouts, feel the need to have people there to keep inventory maintained because of volume. So definitely different challenges and different types of industries. But what would be, I guess, some of the pros of having someone in your location? Because we definitely know, I think the ability not to have someone there helps with the checkout experience for sure. And the technology allows you to feel safe and secure at your smaller markets and vending locations. So what are some of the pros of having people at the location for the C-stores, for the grocery stores, and for traditional retail?
Instant gratification. I have a question. I have a need. I see somebody that works here. What aisle? Where can I go? How much is this? Is this on sale? What time do you close? On and on and on. Do you do gift wrapping? Having somebody there to answer seemingly innocuous questions, right? That is just like, hey, what time do you close tonight? I get that. You can easily research all of those questions on your smartphone. But hey, there happens to be somebody right there. I'm going to take advantage of that.
They should know all of those answers for me.
What about the restaurant experience? As you're talking, my mind's flying. I thought about restaurants. Yeah. What you sit down, and then you can order right from your table. Why isn't that more prevalent today? Why? I'm sure they tried. Some restaurants have that, but again, that's the experience. I sit down, I'm hungry, I pretty much kind of know what I want. I should just be able to order it, send it, it shows up. I don't really need to talk to somebody, but there's always, but let me tell you about the specials today.
Right.
That's where somebody, I guess, has to visit your table.
And I think that's probably the biggest pro of the attended side is that specialty, that source of all knowledge where there's also a human element and the interaction happening. But the one thing that you didn't mention on the attended side was the advantage, maybe this is actually a con of the attended side, is the checkout experience, specifically related to the cashiers, but not the cashiers themselves as people, but the lines that you need to wait through, the gates that you're being held by on an attended side. You even mentioned the restaurant side. I would tend to agree there. You're waiting on your check. You're waiting 45 minutes on your check. Now the tip changes. There are these
ridiculous.
There are these lines. You're waiting in a line to check out at Walmart, Sam's Club, or just to pick up a thing of milk, and you put it back and leave. You're just frustrated. I mean, there's so many different things that could happen. I think maybe we're finding that there's this silver lining, at least from the attended side. The part that's perfected is the checkout experience. That's the part that's perfected. It's purely transactional. If you do have a question, that's where you might, but you might not at a smaller store. You don't have that person there to ask. But on the attended side, you get these specialists who are the pure source of knowledge, where you can ask them where is X? Do you do gift wrapping? Those are perfect questions that you should be able to get the answers for just by asking that person. But once you're there, the checkout experience becomes the other half of the whole shopping experience, which
hate
is
waiting,
perfected
hate
and
lines.
unattended. Yeah.
Hate waiting, hate lines. Rumor has it you're an Apple fanboy. Is that true? Because your Apple experience is all about, God, every person that works at an Apple retail store can check you out.
Specialists.
That contributes to an elevated shopper experience that is just top notch, because I don't have to ever queue up. I guess it's that whole pay over there, queue up over there. Oh my God, did you see the line over there?
Right.
You almost want to, in the old days, I know I would return the product and say, I should probably come back Friday at night, at some point.
Right.
And retailers will suffer, because if people are walking out because the lines are so darn long, is it a question of putting more cash registers, or is it meeting them where they're making those decisions to buy? Why can't they just pay on the spot with that person they're talking to?
Right. I remember personally, this is it, and I've had some just bad. I mean, we all have, I think, poor checkout experiences. But every Sunday night in college, it was this: go to Walmart, get all your groceries for the week. And I swear they'd have one register open, thinking it's going to be this slow, or two registers open, that it's slow Sundays, when it's not. They don't know their customers well at all. We all go to that Walmart on Sunday nights. We're all college kids. We're all stocking up for the week. So don't have two registers open. And my thought in the moment was, open more registers, like get more people on the floor, open 8 registers so we can just keep this moving. And it would cause literal fights in line, just waiting to check out when people would cut or whatever it was. It's literally one of the worst, most painful parts of a grocery or just traditional go into a store, brick and mortar retail experience. It was frustrating. It was frustrating. Yeah. And that's just something that you never have in an unattended store. You don't, unless there's a jam or the internet's down, but these are more like edge cases, not the norm. The norm was every single Sunday, there was a chance that there's going to be a fight in the lines because they're really long. It's like, that's terrible. It's terrible.
It is.
So it's like,
there are more important things to fight over, but trying to buy something and check out, I don't think is one of them.
But the ability to have those specialists with the attendance side, the big pro there, I think we've kind of nailed it, that we don't have to beat on the cons of the unattended side, because I don't see there necessarily are many from a consumer point of view. But the cons of an attended store is that checkout experience. It seems to be. Like you said, Apple's nailed that. I think, and I think front loading with specialists to get you what you need can also be a consumer buying experience, where you're not grocery shopping for 2 hours. You know where you need where you need to go. And I think that's the big advantage, is that having that person there. So what could be the answer for traditional? We see a big con in the attended side. We have a good example in the unattended side. Is it technology? Is technology the answer for the attended retail places on how they create a better consumer experience on the checkout side?
Well, I think having an attendant, having somebody staffed, in an establishment, having a body there is one thing. But I think before, as you were asking that question, don't just put a body there.
Yeah.
Can stores or operators or retailers put somebody knowledgeable with that body? Because that leads to even bigger frustration. How many times have we almost been, ridiculous in our experiences and saying, "Gosh, he wasn't any help to me.
Couldn't help me at all.
Why even have somebody there? The guy doesn't even know where this item is or that item. He couldn't help me. I end up doing the research myself. So add that experience, right?
Yeah.
To the whole checkout and overall buying experience. I think, is that in the for column or the against column of having attended? Educated attended, smart attended, I'm all for it, right? And that's but so going back to the original question, is it all about technology? I think it's a mix of a very knowledgeable use of technology in the areas where maybe having an attended or a staffed business can't maybe get to these almost smart spaces where they're big boards, right? Where you could actually get all the information, but you're still in that environment. Because people don't, I think today, especially today, people don't mind serving themselves. They just need to be given the set of, here we go, technology tools to make it happen, or to help them, so that they don't need that interaction with somebody. Especially, we live in a time-starved economy. Yes, it's a 24/7 economy, but can you imagine the internet in Buckhead, in the head office? When was the last time the internet went down and you would think it was the end of the world, or it slowed down, right? My goodness, the speed of what happened, the internet's down. Oh my, it's the end of the world. How did we get to that point when there was so much, that we accepted getting to where we are today? So I think there are so many things that account for, why the experience has changed over time. Technology makes it smooths out the rough edges. It makes, operations, more seamless. But there's a role for both. I mean, there's having somebody knowledgeable on the floor to guide me, especially for a big purchase.
Yes.
Yep. Like the next time I'm buying a 90-inch flat screen TV.
There you go.
Not even in the cards.
I love it.
but a big purchase like that, you would want to get expert advice, right?
That's right. Yeah, I think you're right that there is a scale to it, right? When you're buying a, you want a quick transaction for the snack that's gonna, cure your hunger in the moment, versus something you've thought about for years about purchasing. Yeah, when you think about buying a car, when you think about buying a big TV, a house, right? Those are the big purchases that you want that human expertise to guide you into the right buying decision. And that's, also the negative side of the bad car salesman, or the used car salesman example, right? Where it's a buy, make it a transaction, right? Rather than an emotional, personal purchase, an investment in something you're going to have for years. But you're absolutely right. And that's where I think it's interesting, because some of the examples we've given that are adjacent to our industry, food and snacks and bev, on the bigger scale, when you're at the grocery store buying food and bev for your home, right? It's like, it's the same level of interaction. They're not big purchases per se, right? Yet there's the element of, and it's not as extreme, right? You don't have salespeople walking around like you would at a car dealership, so it's not exactly the same. But it has some of the elements of those barriers, if you will, at least on the checkout side. It's hard to check out from a dealership, though. That part's not easy. I'd say it's easy, but you can't walk in unattended and go buy a car. You know, not today. Now, I'll say, you know, Tesla's website may be a little bit different. You can get pretty close. Good example. So, you know, Tesla or Volvo with their, you know, the different ways of buying a car. But that's what's changing. And again, what does it have to do with? You still have specialists. Tesla literally has specialist locations, physical locations for you to meet with experts to get more knowledge about your car. But the purchase experience is using Apple Pay on your phone to buy your
beautiful.
car. It's like, man, that's only the checkout experience. All of the decision making of something even so big, you need your specialist. Yes, we have brick and mortar stores. Come in and talk to us, right? Drive the car for a day or whatever, right? Do those things ahead of time, but when you're ready to make the decision, there's no process. Different than a traditional dealership now. It's like, when you're ready, you still have to go through paperwork, a lot of paperwork, a lot of signatures. And there may be some of that, but I think there are, you know, a big picture. We look at our industry, I think, has a huge advantage on the unattended side, because now they are starting to nail down all of the special skills of running an unattended store. And I think those advantages, the technology, the efficiencies, can serve as a perfect example for how that can, well, not quite perfect, but a good example as to how those things can be invested in the other industries as well, to create seamless unattended experiences. And I think that's starting what we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good examples with what you cited. And, you know, I think operators are benefiting with. So here's it, as we start to wrap this up.
Sure.
I think operators are in a very good position today with, you know, it's up to you and I, Evan, to almost demystify and to help a lot of our operator friends and really the buying public who are in this space. How to weed through maybe some of the noise, right? And there's a lot of clutter, and there's all kinds of new technology and new terms that even I frankly have to like, wait, what's AI? How do you spell AI? You know, I need to brush up and understand what blockchain is and quantum, and that's for us to help educate and to teach and for me to learn from you as well. But I think there's never been a better time, because there's a lot of tools out there, starting with cashless. I mean, that transformed how, you know, consumers feel good about making a purchase. Hey, no cash, no check, no card, have watch. I'm good. I can eat. I can drink. And that's what I'm talking about. So it adds to, you know, a really amazing buying experience, and, you know, it's all around us. But I think where the trap is feeling like I've done everything for the business already. I'm offering cashless. I've got great inventory software. I've got this. I'm using, you know, the best pre-kitting capabilities out there, et cetera, et cetera. I think the trap is feeling like that's all you need. This is a market, this is an industry that is forever moving. And sometimes it feels moving at the speed of light. It's fast, and you have to be able to be paying attention all the time. So my suggestion is every week we're going to come out with, another episode, and stay tuned. I think people should, pay attention to this Vendcast.
Agreed.
To get the latest take. We don't have all the right answers, but we'll always ask the right questions, I think.
That's exactly right. I couldn't put it any better. Thanks for this week, Cecil.
We'll see you next week, Evan.
We'll see you next week for Gimme Vendcast episode 7.
Don't forget to subscribe and give us some feedback.
Bye.
We'd love it.